I think if the commentator's curse was a real thing, we'd be having a pedestal seat every seat, and nobody wants that. And we're off!
It's not really commentator's curse, it's just bowing to chat's whims. Because they always want pedestal, they always want Aga 1, and they always want 20 rupees in the first chest. We're rich, chat! Yeah! Happy Friday.
That's when you get started.
And we've got a map check already. All 3 of the Light World dungeons are normal crystals. That doesn't normally happen. Normally have some sort of variety or flavour, but thanks, ETM.
That's going to make things nice and easy at the beginning for our trackers. But shout out to our trackers, Phase 1 Skeeth and Red Aramur. Thank you very much for your time and your efforts.
We have a hammer from Uncle. Almost as good as a level 3 sword, but not quite.
Hitbox and how close you have to get to those enemies to use that hammer makes it a little difficult, but all 4 of these runners are just fantastic runners, and so we're not going to have a problem using the hammer to knock out the enemies and get through escape.
The thing that they're looking for most out of everything is boots or bombs, so that they can check the back of escape in one swoop rather than having to come back for it after they get their gloves. But we have seen previous races, sometimes the enemies do not comply and bombs are not in their prize pool for item drops, so let's hope that they get some bombs and they can knock this out nice and quick. Don't have to rely on coming back here later.
So for those that are new to watching these, the Link to the Past speedruns, as we go through here, we're going to go through some dark rooms. And the way that the logic has everything set up is that we will have a lantern to get us through these dark rooms at the very beginning. But other than that, we actually haven't found the lantern yet. So any other places like Pod or Eastern Palaces, unless we find the lantern, those rooms will be dark.
So nothing of value so far. An extra heart container, so that's 2 extra heart containers they've had in the first 5 checks. Is pretty good for health. And we have the spare small key as well. That's always found by the time you get to the dark room.
A lot of bit of love going on in this castle.
There's only one more useless chest, and that's the Hyrule Castle map. Everything else is an item. That's kind of why they want the bombs or the boots, because there are 3 chests locked behind the bomb wall, and even if one of them has the map, the other 2 are probably useful. Only 10 arrows in Zelda's chest, and BBB Kermit is taking a slightly early lead, but everyone is doing the same route. It's kind of forced until they leave Sanctuary. So, not really that much of a time advantage just yet.
At this point in the race, everything's going so early. We're gonna split after we can get ourselves out of the sanctuary. But as the race is going so far, BB Kermit does have a little bit of a lead.
It's worth mentioning Cassidy has found a bomb as well. Only person to have found any bombs so far. So we're definitely getting at least one of the backroom checks on the stream.
This will give Cassidy Moon a little bit more of an advantage, because as we're going through, she's not going to be stopping to farm bombs. Everyone else is going to be looking for those bombs in the back, and she may be able to pull ahead.
It's also worth mentioning that bombs have been found. That means bombs are in the prize pool for killing enemies. So, bomb drops are possible. It's just how long will our runners continue to farm for them. You may see some runners, if they get desperate or think that they're losing too much time, they might actually just skip the check and come back later, which will that's not something you want to do. You want to get that check done right away and nice and early, because sometimes you forget about it, sometimes you get lucky and you don't have to do it. But if you've got an item in there you definitely need, yeah, you don't want to be.
And there's really no convenient way to get. And there's really no convenient way to get back into the sewers until you get the power glove.
Yeah, you need the power gloves, and it's difficult check sometimes. Sometimes you'll see runners orphan this check off, knowing that they have boots afterwards, after they get to the sanctuary maybe. They'll do the bonk rocks, they'll do the King's Grave. Sometimes they just forget to come back to sewers, but sometimes it's just they've done every other check in this area and they leave it and don't come back here until they absolutely have to.
Boss Godfrey and BBB Kermit have found their bombs. The only one who's still hunting right now is Edium.
And there's some more bombs if you didn't have them. Bombs and a piece of heart. So
Nothing really important, no progression items buried down here in the sewers except for that hammer. So it's going to be exciting to see where they choose to go as soon as they get out of the sanctuary.
Yeah, all of our runners do have bombs now available as well. It seems as the bombs were dropped by the snacks. But that's okay. Everyone gets more bombs and more love, and the sanctuary has, oh wow, another heart container. We're super healthy. We've already doubled our heart container count by the time we leave the sanctuary.
Lots of love, a little bit of money, and some bombs. I think that's probably going to lead everyone towards Kakariko right away.
Yeah, I don't expect any major route divergences. We haven't found gloves, we haven't found flute. So most people will now head to the Lost Woods or straight to Kakariko Village.
We haven't found enough cash yet to get ourselves a bottle from the bottle vendor, or definitely not enough cash in order to head on over to Zora. So, I mean, unfortunately, none of them are really heading. Everyone's going straight to Kakariko, so we're not going to see a Houlihan room right away at the beginning.
50 rupees in the Thieves' Hideout. And
that'll...
wow, another heart container.
And that'll give us enough money for the bottle vendor for everybody, so it's going to be exciting to see what the bottle vendor has for us. But yes, more and more love.
Another heart container. It's going to be heart containers for everyone, but no armor upgrades. Or it's going to be every item has been replaced with a heart container. We're going to have people finish the race with 75 heart containers and no weapons.
As entertaining as that would be, I don't know if we're going to find 75 heart containers, but I'd love to see 3 rows of hearts.
I'm sure it's possible with some clever people hacking the game and things. You could definitely do it in Super Metroid. I'm fairly sure you could do it in this as well.
As we come to the basement of Blind's hut, we have 4 chests, and we're looking at the Power Glove. Fantastic. A little bit of love. Arrows. And some bombs. So I guess we had the Power Glove. We could go back into that basement and check it, but we already know there's nothing down there.
It's worth mentioning, as soon as they get the Moon Pearl, they have the Dark World access now available. Grey Gloves, Hammer, all you need is Moon Pearl, and you can start walking around in the Dark World without being a bunny.
And Cassidy has found the hook shot in Aghanim's cave, and then we also found the blue mail at the bottom of Blind. So we get the blue mail for BB Kermit and the hook shot for Cassidy. And here's that team and Boss Godfrey picking up their gloves and soon to pick up their blue mail as well.
Ah, they also found the single arrow in Shabadoo's house, so...
and the red mail was found by BBB Kermit at the bottom of the well. We are healthy and we are protected.
Goodness.
Cassidy picking up the book at the dam.
It's all kicking off now. All of the items, wow. Oh,
and
most importantly, the boomerang, yes.
And we have a mirror! BBB Kermit just found himself the mirror in the chicken shack. We're finding all these items right away.
Just someone get these runners the golden gloves and the flute, and we're all sorted for going literally anywhere.
And a little more love comes from the back of the bar, and now we have Cassidy, who's about to give us a check on our mini Moldorm cave.
Library for Kermit, it says a tiny shield. So, yeah, we know that the shields aren't going to be golden shield by the time people finish this game.
And the mini Moldorm cave is holding our Cane of Samaria. Let it be Cane.
There's too many items. I don't see how the seed is making our runners have to do work here. I'm so confused. I've never seen a seed this good start off and then continue to be this good through the entire seed.
Well, I did say I was looking for a fairly quick seed, and that might be what we're getting. But however, the seed giving everything in this overworld of the light world is not really leading us in any direction as to where to start to find the final progression items that we're going to need.
No, that's true. At the moment, if they want to stay in logic, then they need a lamp or flippers. But fake flippers are available for the people who know how to do it. With grey gloves, they can go through the dark rooms, climb the mountain, so that's not too bad. Hammer and hook shot is all of the East Dark Mountain. East Death Mountain, sorry. Dark Mountain is not available until they get golden gloves. So,
yes, well, the golden gloves are now in logic because we found another glove upgrade in the Ice Rod Cave, and so we will have Titan's bits coming up here real soon.
Oh, this is just... okay.
It is quite an incredible seed.
So, if they sequence break up the mountain, none of those things are in logic until they get the lamp, but with golden gloves and even without the moon pearl, they can do the Super Bunny Cave and get the 2 items there. And with the hammer and the golden gloves, they can then also check what they need for Turtle Rock. And people have checked with Shabadoo, and Turtle Rock is a green pendant. So maybe they don't want to do Turtle Rock, I don't know.
And there's Etienne picking up his book, and we have BBB Kermit finishing up the Moldorm Cave, so he'll be grabbing his Cane of Samara here very soon. With all of these items in the overworld, I don't think we're going to be seeing ourselves a dungeon until for a while, actually.
I don't know. They can get into Eastern, they can get into Desert. Tower of Hera is available if they sequence break as well, because, again, they either need the flute or the lamp to get up there logically.
Correct. Logically, we're going to need either the flute or the lamp to get up into Death Mountain. And right now we have the book so we can get into the second dungeon, but we can't beat it without a fire source. We can get into Eastern, but we can't beat it without a bow. So whereas we have all these items, we actually don't have the ability to complete any of these dungeons yet.
Sometimes you do get the rare dungeon where you find the item you need to complete it is actually in the dungeon, French vanilla style. It could happen. Finding stupid stuff where you least expect it, so bow in desert, boots in desert, bow in Eastern Palace.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
I also think that if we don't find anything soon, that these guys are going to make that trip up Death Mountain, because I think every single one of these runners is comfortable enough in the dark room to rescue the old man and get themselves up to on top of the mountain.
Yeah. We've seen there's 3 bombs on Desert Ledge, and Ajinar only has a blue rupee, or a bloopy if you prefer, or 5 rupees if you're into maths.
Moon picking up their blue mail, and we have Etienne who's making his first dip into the dungeon. He's into Desert Palace to see what it has to offer us. We don't have the boots yet, so let's hope it's nothing important hanging on top of that lantern.
It's also worth going into that room, finding out what the hint is, the hint tile at the back of the room. They do need boots. That is the boss key on top. And I didn't quite catch what that hint was. It was talking about both items in Misery Mire are on the left side behind fire, I believe it was. It was a sword is fire locked in mire. Excellent. Thank you, chat. You're the best. Etc. Mostly etc.
Thank you, chat.
Stun prize is 20 rupees, that's interesting. And useful. If you have a boomerang and stun many enemies, you might eventually get enough money to go and see King Zora which
And
is
there we
flooded
have the
with great
Moon
clubs.
Pearl. Edium finds the Moon Pearl in the back of Desert Palace, so we do have Dark World access.
And he hasn't done the checks over on the South Shore Lake, so he hasn't got gold gloves just yet, but he might... I don't know, I think he's just going to dip straight into the Dark World right now and check the Hype Cave, check the Overworld map, and see what kind of a seed we have.
And it looks like Edium's going to be our first one to head over to the Hype Cave. Let's get some hype for the Hype Cave! Although I don't know how many items are left that we could possibly find in here.
All of them, all the items. Lots of other people are coming over to Desert as well. Desert over Eastern, they're going to find similar progression. There's the Mushroom. And the Fire Rod. And some money. And Ether Medallion. And a Piece of Heart. I would rate that Hype Cave like a 7 out of 10. That's the best Hype Cave I've seen in a long time.
That's a fantastic Hype Cave. Now, I can say I've seen one better than that, but I'd give it a solid 8. That Fire Rod gives them the fire source. It gives them a way to tackle Mothula. That's a pretty good Hype Cave.
Chat is confused. It's like, Hype Cave is good? Since when? It hasn't happened since version 28. We're on version 30 now. Wow. Boss Godfrey has escorted Old Man up the hill and is now making his way to the top of Death Mountain. Didn't quite see what the prize was for escorting the Old Man home. But I'm assuming it's nothing of value because it hasn't appeared on the tracker.
Ashley Moon's about to pick up her Moon Pearl down at the back of Desert Palace.
Piece of Heart inside Spectacle Rock, but also a hint tile. We'll figure out what this says. Unique item requires bombs. Ah. That's like one of the most useless, helpful hints in the game. It's almost a joke hint at that point.
They haven't quite fixed the logic with the hints yet, and a lot of times you'll get a hint of something that you've already found like at the very beginning of the game. There's Etienne picking up his Cane of Samaria, and we get the Fire Rod down there for BBB Kermit as he clears out the Hype Cave.
Might get a map check here. Yes, we do. Red crystals over at Palace of Darkness and Thieves Town. Pendants at Ice Palace and Skull Woods. Green pendant, Turtle Rock. So we have to check Mire at some point, so the flute is required. And we will have to dip into Swamp for that crystal as well, so flippers are also required. Can't get away with fake flippering everything.
Very true. And with the pendant at Turtle Rock, then we actually are not going to necessarily need the Ice Rod in order to complete this seed. Let's hope we don't need to see Turtle Rock today. And Stumpy just holding a bundle of arrows for us.
Boss Godfrey's decided to keep on going up the mountain, is now in Tower of Hera, and gets the hint some cash needs fire in Tower of Hera. So there's an item in the basement, and we're not going for it. So that's great. You get a basement check for free.
There is no reason to deal with that entire tile room just for a little... Cassidy Moon picking up her Fire Rod on her Ether Tablet as she exits Hype Cave. And we're going to... I think we may have just missed a check on Cave 45.
There was bombs in Cave 45, there was bombs in the island in Lake Hylia. And we're getting a hobo check as well from Etium. Which is pretty good, because fake flippers, we haven't seen that all seed, all stream, and 10 arrows. I'm sorry.
We did get a clue check in Tower of Hera, but I think I missed it.
Shovel in Palace of Darkness. Ew. Palace of Darkness? Dark Village. Red, help me out here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the shovel really all it does is it opens up the flute dig spot. I don't think the shovel does anything else logically for the game.
No, it just gives you one extra check. It's one of those annoying fetch quest items like the mushroom and technically the powder and the bottle.
And we have Etienne up in the upper left, and we'll be doing some water walking and checking these two at the fairy cave. Just a little bit of money at the fairy cave, and we'll see if he's going to take that walk up through the Zora area.
Ooh. Boss Godfrey using hammer strats on Moldorm gets 2 hits down and then gets bumped off the edge of the arena. So I normally keep score with Moldorm. If he knocks me off the platform, 1 point to him. If I kill him, 1 point to me. If he knocks me down the floor in the center, that does 2 points to him because it's 2 floors.
It sounds like Trolldorm is being trolly. We got a check on the ledge up in the Zora area, and it was just a sword upgrade. So I doubt we're going to be making a run, any sort of rush to go check out Zora again anytime soon.
It really depends, because if you can find all the other sword upgrades without having to revisit that area, that's great. If you definitely need a sword upgrade, you need at least Master Sword to be able to complete the game, so people may have to head there eventually to pick that one up.
There's Boss Godfrey taking Trolldorm down for himself.
That's the first crystal on the stream, and the score is now 1-1 for Boss Godfrey. He'll have that rematch later when he goes up Ganon's Tower.
We've got Cassidy Moon is about to return Jeremiah to his home. We'll see if we get anything else special there.
₹100, the prize on the treasure game. And Kermit's opening up Thieves Town and just going straight in as well.
Now, we just found the shovel at the brewery in Thieves Town. I thought that we had a clue earlier that said the shovel was going to be buried in Pod.
Yeah, Red misspoke and said Dark Palace instead of Dark Village. They're roughly the same. They're both dark locations.
Fantastic. Glad I didn't miss anything there. And Jeremiah the Bullfrog just providing us with a little bit of love. And we had a Cave 45 check again. Now, that's something I'm still not 100% sure on. Is that why it's just called Cave 45?
From what I gather, someone created a guide, and it was very helpful and useful and numbered all the locations. And every other location has a name or something associated with it, which makes it distinguishable. That one, nothing really stuck. Some people call it South of Grove. But everyone else just refers to it as K45 because that's the number it was assigned.
Now, I know when I started playing this game all those years ago, back in 90-something, my brother and I always called it the O Cave because it was the little O of trees that were just outside of it.
I don't know what else I would call that cave now because it's annoying. It is out of the way, you need to get there with the mirror, you'll easily forget about it if you're not going for 100%. Casual playthrough, you probably doesn't even know it exists. Yeah, it's just an annoying cave. But that can even go to Hype Cave, because Hype Cave is annoying too.
I'll give you that. So it looks like BBB Kermit's been making his way through the level 4 in the Dark World, and he found his Quake medallion in one of the first 4 chests towards the outside. And he seems to be trying to take out the rest of the dungeon while he is here. But this is good because now he has a Quake and he has an Ether with one more that we can access to both Meyer and Turtle Rock if necessary.
If you didn't have the fire rod, it would also give you access to Ice Palace, which is not terribly useful this game, seeing as it's a pendant, but, well, no one's checked that pedestal yet, so who knows. We're getting alternate names for K45 in this chat as well. The Works Without Mirror in Inverted Cave seems to be my favourite, because it does exactly what it says on the tin, and it's ridiculously long.
We've had a couple people check out the fake powder with the magic bat and giving us just a little bit of money.
people who've never seen the fake powder before, all you need is an item in the mushroom/powder slot. It could be either of them. You have to have an empty magic meter, use the Cane of Samaria, and menu, and swap over to the mushroom and/or powder, as it gives you the sound telling you you're out of magic, and if you pull that off successfully, it will pretend that you had powder all along, and it will give you the item.
I'm taking a note that Boss Godfrey found the boots earlier on, and it went right past my eyeballs. Anyone in chat can tell us where the boots were hiding?
Red said the boots were in Paradox Cave on Death Mountain. That makes a lot of sense. Lots of access to get over there. Yeah, we missed most of the Death Mountain checks, I think. I didn't think Boss Godfrey went over to Death Mountain, but obviously it has the access with the hammer, so it makes sense. He can actually complete most of this place right now. Still hasn't gone over to Hype Cave yet, so no Fire Rod. So no way of getting to Lamola's. But we'll be able to check what's in the big chest. It was just a taco.
And this gives him the freedom of knowing that when he ever needs to come back to this level, he can just go straight into the back and take out the Landmos.
Kermit using red cane strats, and nice. Only one heart left. That would have been disappointing if you died to blind. It's very difficult without a sword, even with all your health and armor upgrades, so that's a really good fight. Red crystal for him.
And it seems like everyone else is going to be working on taking out that blind fight as well.
The worst part about that fight is it doesn't matter what weapon you have, you just have to do 9 hits. And if you don't have a sword, then it just becomes a little bit more difficult. You've got red cane, you've got the hammer to help you out, but that's about it. And you have to be concerned with your health as well. You don't want to get taken out by the fireballs. Fireballs deal 1 heart of damage no matter what your armor.
No matter what your armor is a great way of saying it. 4 of our runners have found the red mail.
Yeah.
But that we got at the very beginning, I don't think health or dying is really going to be much of a question in here. It's just going to be about finding those items that you need to progress. And here we have Boss Godfrey about to head into Hype Cave, so he'll be picking up his Ether Medallion and his Fire Rod, and he might go ahead and turn around and bolt straight back to level 2 and put on his mind. And here we have Cassidy Moon taking out her blind fight, and she's completing level 4 as well. So we're at a point where once Etienne finishes his blind fight, then everyone will have at least 1 boss down. Now, as I look through the tracker, we have not had anyone actually pick up a sword yet from this seed. We found a sword up on top of the Zora ledge, but haven't had anyone actually pick one up, so everyone's been using hammer strats and cane strats for all these fights so far.
Yeah, Bob Godfrey was trying to hammer dash through the pegs between where Link's house is and Palace of Darkness, because of the Dark World. And has found the blue cane on top of the pyramid. He's having difficulty with the hammer dash though, because you can't actually hammer dash through those without a sword. So he's just bonking off them, thinking, hammer does not go through. How does this work? No, you have to do this manually unless you have a sword. And
and here we have BB Kermit taking out one of those dark rooms.
Yeah, that's the mountainside, and got in okay, and is having a little bit of difficulty getting out, having to use the boomerang to echolocate where he was in the cave. He got out there eventually. Unfortunately, keys are vulnerable to the boomerang as well, so if they get in the way, they just get hit and get taken out. And don't have to worry about them, just have to get past them and get back to the exit.
Without having found a lantern yet, we may be seeing a few more of these dark rooms. That first dark room with getting yourself out of the terribly difficult because you've got that one ditch that you need to avoid, but other than that, it's a pretty easy way to get through. Eastern is very doable. You only have to worry about that one room where you have the Igor. And if you can find that Igor, then you can take that out. It's Pod, and it is Aghanim, and it is Misery Mire that have the dark rooms that are really, really difficult.
Kermit's now headed over to Tower of Hera as well.
Idiom taking down his blind fight, so we have at least one boss beaten by every single four of our runners.
There's a lot of activity at that top half of the screen there. It's like, goodness, how many fireballs? Too many. And then blind died, and so it was fine again. Everything's fine. Cassidy's checking the graveyard ledge, and fine, there's a piece of heart. Oh dear. Everybody's healthy. Everyone has like 11 heart containers already. That's not surprising, like everyone left with 6 from Sanctuary.
Yes, Cliff Racer, I do believe Spike Cave is in Logic now, at least for Boss Godfrey, because he has a Cane of Burna and enough health in the red mail. He should be able to get there if he wants to take it out. However, he's already made his trip up to Death Mountain. I don't see him going back there anytime soon. Yes, Synums, I agree. If you get the Fire Rod, you can take care of those turtles, and those tend to be the biggest issue with the Dark Room and Pod.
Boss Godfrey's found the flute in the basement of Palace of Darkness. So, of note, it wasn't bow-locked, otherwise he would not be getting over here. The boots are in Paradox Cave, says the hint. That's good for him, he's already found them.
And we've got Edium, who's going to go ahead and take that treasure chest down to the locksmith and see what we can find there. We have BB Kermit, who's about to take care of his Troll Dorm fight, and we're going to have another...
Careful, careful! This is the thing about Swordless against Moldorm, is that you get a hit a long way when you get touched by him. And there's no way of saving yourself from like being bumped completely off the platform. So it's a very difficult fight.
And we have a red orang. Sorry about that. We have the red orang coming out of the chest for the thief.
Oh goodness. So we had Jeremiah taken home, we've had a purple chest, and wow. There's so many items that our runners are just taking completely diverging routes at this point. It is actually very difficult to keep track of 4 screens at once and let you know what people are doing. And oh, Eating Balls are very difficult. Walk on water. The fake flipper glitch. This one to get him up to where the witch's hut is, and the normal access for people who want to go to the Houlihan room.
Yes, absolutely. We're about to figure out what this mushroom is going to give us. And most of the people have already done their fake powder. Then go ahead and turn this mushroom and see what they have coming up next.
Boss Godfrey's trying the Dark Maze in Palace of Darkness without the lantern. Oh, single penny for your mushroom. The drugs are cheap.
So as I'm looking through all the items we have here, the progression items that we're still on the lookout for that none of our people have found yet are the flippers in order to take care of the Swamp Palace, is the lantern, which is not necessary if you can walk through all the dark rooms. And then it looks like the bow. It's the bow that we're really on the hunt for.
Yeah, Bow gives us Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness completing. It's two important crystals, and if you want to check what's in the pyramid with the fairy, then you need Palace of Darkness to get access to the golden bomb.
And here we have BBB Kermit walking his way into the Paradox Cave, so he should be finding his boots very, very soon. He'll be happy about that.
We're also getting a lumberjack check from Etium. It's only 3 bombs, so thankfully Aghanim is not required for that. And seeing as everyone has Dark World access to the fullest availability, that's Agar is not going to appear this seed. Sorry, we're not playing Gold Dungeons, just standard.
We've already passed up an Aga. It doesn't look like we're going to need to take care of that pedestal unless the pedestal happens to have the bow or the flippers. We'll be able to skip over that as well.
I don't think anyone has done the check, even though everyone has the book. They might be waiting and... unless people really desperately want to go into Skull Woods for the items over there. I don't know if we're going to see an actual check at the pedestal.
And Snake, I don't think we've had a check about a sword being in Mire. I know the only sword that I have seen so far has been the one that is on the Zora ledge, and no one's tried to head up there to pick that up because we haven't found the flippers.
Spring Ball is behind Ridley. That's... no. Firstly, wrong game. Secondly, that is not true. So, Jokins in Eastern Palace for Boss Godfrey, and nothing else of value either, so it seems like a bust. Palace of Darkness, Eastern Palace, no dice. We need the bow to continue and get those crystals.
Red Armor bring up a good point. The flippers can't be on the pedestal because the flippers are needed in order to access Ice Palace. So the only item that could still possibly be on pedestal that would make any would be the bow. Because we also know that the lantern can't be on there because we have to complete Turtle Rock, and the lantern is required for Turtle Rock for the dark room where you have the platform you have to create.
I think I saw the hint in the cave, and that, yeah, it said bombs. Bow can be in Maya. Correct. I don't see a reason why it can't be. Oh, we have a bottle finally. Kermit found one on Floating Island.
37 minutes in, we find our first bottle.
They're so useful. Oh, Quake is on the top of Turtle Rock. So Turtle Rock access is immediate, and the whole dungeon is accessible with the exception of whichever item is on Trinex. So that's big information. The whole of the Green Pendant dungeon is doable. Well, apart from the boss.
You say we have not found the ice route yet, so we can't take out Trinex, but the entire rest of the dungeon can be done. And so you get that one dark room that could be a little bit tricky, but as I said, these runners are all good enough. They can easily handle that platformer without a problem. And here Etienne realizes that he doesn't need to take a trip into the basement of Hera, so we'll be heading right upstairs and knocking out his troll door. BBB Kermit giving us a check on the Spike Cave and just going to probably power his way through to the very end because he's got that red mail. And Cassidy Moon is walking into and just finding a bundle of sticks in the checkerboard cave.
Yeah. Kermit surprised me. It's like, you don't have blue mail, you don't have anything, you have flippers now from Spike Cave. Turns out, red potion exactly when you need it, that's the best feeling. It gives you flippers.
Cassidy Moon has picked up our first sword in the basement of taking a trip on into Mire and see if we can stuff out as possible.
So now we know where 2 of the swords are. We still need to find out where the rest of them are. It's, you need at least 2 to complete the game. Most runners will be happy to see 3 to make the fight against Ganon that little bit easier.
And King's Tomb holding just another bundle of sticks.
Getting hit around like a ping pong ball in Maya lobby. Finally going to take out those wizard robes, and Casty will be continuing on to the meat of the dungeon, trying to find out where all the items are. We know they're actually they're both on the Firelock side. We saw one of those hints. I think
And BBB Kermit just finding 300 rupees at the bottom of the bonk rocks.
I think we just remembered one of those was a sword in the left side of Maya, so we know where 3 swords are now. One was in Maya Shed, one's in Maya Actual, and there's one on Zora's Ledge.
It seems like that Meyer play was a very good choice, getting there as early as possible, giving yourself at least one sword to start working through the rest of these dungeons. I know that the hammer is a much more powerful weapon, but I'd rather have a fighter's sword just trying to get to the main part of the dungeons.
It's also worth noting we already have the big key, so this is a god mire. We just need to go over to the Firelock section, get our sword, and be on our way. It's one of the quickest possible mires you could ask for, in theory. I say in theory because the sword could be behind cutscene.
Let's hope it's a sword here. Nope, it looked like the sword's behind the
It is one or the other. At least we know where both items are. We know we don't have to deal with the right-hand side of the dungeon. We can go straight to the boss after going through the warp tile sequence, and then, yeah, the dungeon. There's still some added difficulty, because there are some dark rooms, which, if you don't have the lantern, this is one of the most dangerous and difficult sets of dark rooms, in my opinion.
And so it seems that we found the flippers down on BBB Kermit's side.
Yep, they were in the Spike Cave. Red Potion came in handy. And goes over to the floaty island, 3 bombs. Never mind, continue on. And go to do the rest of the other checks.
So with these new finds, it seems that the only thing we're going to have to look for now is that bow. Other than that, we can combine all of our items together and we would be in go mode.
Boots for Etium and Boss Godfrey figuring out by bonking into the door. He doesn't have the small key for the basement big chest, so the key by logic has to be in the big chest. So all that remains is to kill Blind. I don't think we've actually paid attention to what Blind's pun of the day is, so we'll have that in just a second. And it says, being crushed by big objects is depressing. Yes, it is. And now you must die because that pun is terrible.
Thank you, Blind, so much. This may be one of the few times someone gets a pun and they get appropriate retaliation.
And Casti is actually getting through the dark rooms in Mire. Difficult to say currently where they are, but oh no, may have actually ditched and gone up the mountain. That is also a possibility. Yeah, ditched and went up the mountain. I could see the trace from the sword spark where Casti was heading, just exactly what kind of pattern is following it. That's not the inside of Mire anymore.
And BBB Kermit giving us our first check on Zora, and probably going to be zipping down and picking up one of those swords on us after he finishes buying the most expensive item in the game.
Yeah. Those flippers coming in handy. First person to pick up the sword ledge. The ledge sword. One of the two.
And Zora being a con man, you just paid 500 rupees to get 50.
Yep, pyramid scheme prospers yet again. But it doesn't really matter, Kermit had over 1,000 rupees, so Losing 500 is not too bad.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the swords are required in Logic in order to get into Turtle Rock and Mire, because you need to have a sword to activate the medallions, correct?
That is correct. You need at least one sword to open up medallion dungeons. You need at least 2 swords if you want to pull whatever is on Ether or Bombos tablet. And of course you need some swords for other things. You need a sword for Aghanim's tower to knock back the curtain. Same for Skullwoods. At the back you need a sword to knock open some vines which are covering an exit. And of course you need swords to defeat Ganon. You need at least a Master Sword to be able to damage him. People would prefer for a Tempered Sword because that you can hit him directly rather than having to do the spin attack with the Master Sword.
We just noticed Etienne went ahead and checked the Ether tablet, and now I know that this is a fairly new discovery that the tablets cannot hold a progression item. So we know that the bow was not going to be on the tablet, but he went ahead and checked the tablet anyways and just got himself 20 rupees.
Yep, that's good news because you'll never have to go back and wait for that Ether effect to go off on the tablet. It's not the slowest out of the 3 animations, but it takes an amount of time going back for the Ether tablet.
I'm finding that there is nothing fancy hidden down in King's Tomb, and Cassidy Moon about to go up and take care of her Trolldorm fight after realizing that there was just a taco on the big chest. And Boss Godfrey killing all his magic as he's about to go ahead and check out that magic bat and once again get nothing special.
Kermit's picks up the hook shot finally, and the important single arrow. On the way through to Palace of Darkness, so I'm not sure. Palace of Darkness continuation? Yes. You're already here, so you might as well try and do some things in Palace of Darkness rather than head over to Swamp. But you want to head over to Swamp as well at some point because you have everything that you need to get in there. You have the mirror, you have the flippers, you have the hammer, and you have the hook shot. So that's really all that you need to get into Swamp and take it out. It's a crystal dungeon, but governing by the way we're looking at the scene right now, we still have no idea where the bow is or the lamp. Either could be in there.
If I remember correctly, I think the flute is buried in the back of Palace of Darkness, and so we'll be able to pick that up. The question is he going to take the time to do that dark maze room or not?
I don't think you need to go through to the dark maze. Flute was in the basement, which is accessible logically, so there's no worries about having to do any dark rooms out of sequence. The question then is, do you want to go back to Kakariko Village and activate the flute, or would you rather just head over to Swamp immediately? I don't know. I'd probably head over to Swamp and then go back and activate the flute later.
I'm the kind of runner where I would probably just go from there. I go straight down to Swamp and go to Kakariko after that, because if I'm in the area, let's go ahead and knock it out, save myself a few screen transitions. And there he is picking up his flute.
The chat says, "Oh, don't worry about the bow being in Swamp. We've already called it as being on Turtle Rock Laser Bridge." That has to be a concern, though. You do have everything that you need to do Turtle Rock apart from the boss, so maybe there is a unique item on the Laser Bridge. Maybe it's the net. But oh no, we don't need to do Aghanim 1. Darn.
You know, I'm sort of hoping one of these days we get some commentators just like myself who are like, please, let's just put it right in view so we can have a really fast seed.
There's... Oh. Okay. Nothing important just yet. Oh yeah, because we knew that was... Egypt's just going around and is like, yeah, land molars, we can do this now. Oh. Well, that would explain it. Eaton was like, yeah, I could do land molars now, let's do it. Wait, I need a key to do this? How long have I been playing this game? Who am I? Where am I? Yeah. You have the boots. I forgot to pick up the big key and check what was in the big chest, because there could have been an item in there. And,
well, he's going to head back there and pick up that big key in a quick second, because he remembers where it was. So we've got it now, we're ready to go.
Yeah. The brain was engaged, and now we can go through to the back. That's where the boss is.
And here, even though we've got a red Igor, we can just go ahead and light these 4 lanterns and just ignore him like he doesn't exist.
It's worth noting, Kermit is doing the Dark Maze in Palace of Darkness, and not only has he found the silver arrows, he has found the bow in the Dark Maze.
The bow in the Dark Maze. This is awesome, because this means now he's already in Palace of Darkness. He can just go ahead and take out the rest of the level while he's here. Interesting.
Yeah. If you're comfortable enough with doing the rooms at the back of the dungeon, not knowing where the turtles are, then yes, you can get all the way to Helmasaur King. But, wow. That's huge.
So with him finding the bow, I'm looking at the tracking stuff, and it looks as though we might be, except for the lantern, we may be in go mode.
For logic's sake, we will need a lamp still, but it's going to be interesting to find out where it is. It's not Thieves Town. It could be in Skullwoods. It could be in Swamp. And other than that, it's overworld checks, because we haven't... Oh no! Ice is theoretically possible too, because we have the Fire Rod, and there are no Dark Rooms there, so that's also a possibility. Turtle Rock is a possibility for about half the dungeon, or 2/3 of the dungeon, so that's also... This is all theory. Like everything is still theory.
It is all theory, and I'm thinking about the dark rooms that we have left, and I'm pretty sure Kermit is that caliber of a runner, where he could take out the dark rooms. He may just say, let's not even bother trying to find the lamp, let's go.
Yeah, it looks like Kermit is just heading on over that way, and I don't need a lamp to be this cool. It fires off a silver arrow into the Igor statue. Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. The series of rooms, the first room has to knock out some turtles and activate a switch. Second room is an L-shaped corridor with 1 turtle in it. The room after that, though, is the dangerous one. There are 6 turtles, and you can't see where they are. You have to kill all of them to open the door. So this could be fun. Trying to find out where enemies are by echolocation, because they don't show up on the map either. Not without a fire source.
And the number of times you swing that hammer in the dark and the turtle flips back over and you can't even tell.
Not until it runs into you and hurts you. Ah, there you go. Pocket strats. There are lamps in their room, so you can turn on the lights with the fire rod. And decided, this is too much effort doing this blind, and turned on the lights instead.
And we just had a hint from the inside of Turtle Rock, and I unfortunately missed it. We're going to go ahead and catch this.
Wow. Can we just... I've got a hammer, I've got a sword, that's good enough for me. Hammer dashes through everything. Hook shot for Etium. Checkable cave check for Boss Godfrey. And reaffirming the map check as well. Reconfirming what you already knew.
And Kermit taking down his Helmasaur King. We have had Etium and we've had Boss Godfrey that have taken out level 2. So we've got 3 of our 4 runners having taken down 3 of the bosses, while Cassidy Moon works her way through Turtle Rock. Thank you, Red Armorer. Yes, you. It was armor requires a bomb in the hint for Turtle Rock. And Eastern Palace giving us a big key right off the bat. So that's going to be a wonderful grace for BBB Kermit. He's just going to plow straight through Eastern, probably without checking too many more chests.
The lamp has been found at Chain Chomp Chest in Turtle Rock. Thank you, Cassidy. And I'm sorry for your loss. You had to do Turtle Rock.
Great job, Cassidy, on finding that lantern. So we have found all of the items that we need to be in go mode. It's a question of who's going to pick them all up and have it on the same screen first.
And chat goes confused because, like, what? The lamp is there? No! And yeah, that is the second to last possible location for the lamp to be in Turtle Rock, I think. I know. No, there are others as well, actually. Because you can keep on going, theoretically, all the way until you get to the roller room before the dark room. And, oh, we found the net where the big key normally is. So, we found the net, we can kill Aga now, yes.
And Etienne picking up his flute in the basement of Pod. And so, yes, Kermit is just going ahead. He's plowing straight through Eastern without trying to check all the chests. He is considered go mode, and he's going to be trying to knock these dungeons out, even if he has to handle a dark room.
Yeah, it gets to the point now, if you're comfortable enough with all of the dark rooms, you don't care that you don't have the lamp. Most runners are happy if they don't have silvers, so the only thing that he actually needs is another sword, but knowing that there is a sword available in Maya on the way, this shouldn't slow down.
Yeah, not in the slightest. And I'm wondering if he has seen that hint that says that there's going to be a sword in Maya, and so once he gets to Maya and he finds 2 more swords, he'll be very, very pleased.
Yeah, he has to be careful though. I think one of those we discussed, it was in the shed outside. So it's 2 checks, but when you think you're definitely in go mode, you sometimes forget about that check. And yeah, going against Ganon with a Master Sword is not fun, but it is possible. So we'll just have to see. And he might also get lucky and find a sword in Ganon's tower on the way up to top room. So that has happened before as well.
If Kermit completing 4 out of the 7 dungeons that he needs to have done, and we have a couple of the runners that are still about a dungeon behind, but they've made a lot of really good work in some deep dungeons.
And here comes Toot Toot, I Am a Flute for Kermit, playing the Hyrulean national anthem to awaken his duck. Can we get some
Etienne brilliantly taking out that the Palace of Darkness bomb jump, and now he'll be working his way through the dark room.
Just heading straight over to Maya. It's worth mentioning as well, we haven't discussed this, we saw that Turtle Rock's front entrance was Quake. It's also the same medallion requirement to get into Misery Mire, so I think everyone got Ether first, but everyone has also picked up Quake at this point, and so it's very easy to head straight on in. Boss Godfrey taking a death inside Misery Mire.
So here you are, 12th Dock on your favorite laser bridge. Cassie's going to finish checking these items. I'm thinking she's still trying to find those flippers and hoping that there is something buried all the way back here that not everybody else is checking.
Well, only 1 chest left to check, and it's a key. We could have taken a quick look at the key count to check. But it was the last possible chest. It had to be the small keys to open the way over to Trinex. Unfortunately, that's not possible to get the Trinex item. We need the ice rod first.
So here, VVB Kermit actually did not check the shed outside of Misery Mire, so he's still sitting on his white sword.
Be heading on over, trying to find the big key first, I would guess. That's not going to be too difficult. It's in the chest, in the room on the right of this one. Hopefully he has picked up that hint and remembers that hint. And obviously with the dark rooms, being comfortable with them, getting to the boss and then killing the boss with the silver arrows is a piece of cake. Might also, if he has seen the hints, he may just go to Vitreous and knock it out now, and go back for the items later.
That seems to be what he's doing. He's found his big key, and he's on his way to Vitreous. So he's actually going to be missing over 2 of the swords, and he's going to need to have at least 1 more if he wants to use the Master Sword to swing slash Ganon. Perhaps he's hoping that he'll be able to find that sword while he's doing all of his checks in Ganon's tower later.
Yeah, it's a dangerous way of going about it. I don't like going into Ganon's tower with anything less than Master Sword. With a white sword, you can't actually hit Ganon at all. You need to hit him with a sword to be able to deal damage to him in the first 3 phases of the fight, so playing a very risky game and gambling where that 4th sword upgrade is.
Etium and Pod, and Etium has found the silver arrows and the bow as well. So looking through her items, she actually has not, or Etium, he has not actually picked up a sword yet. But other than that, he also has not found his flippers too. So he's still a little ways away from go mode.
It's unfortunate because I don't know about other people, but for me, Spike Cave is one of those ones which you don't really do unless you have a good opportunity to do it, because it's one of those which is out of the way and almost always requires a save and quit afterwards. It's just not worth doing it most times, and when it has that one item that you desperately need, it doesn't feel good.
I've had more than one occasion where I'm sitting there and I do not have the hook shot and I do not have the mirror, so I can't get over to East Death Mountain, and that Spike Cave has come through for me by having something that I desperately needed.
Yeah. Out of the 3 caves, the ones which are the most annoying for me are Spike Cave, Checkerboard Cave, and Mimic Cave. And Mimic Cave, most of the time, I don't have to do it. Spike Cave, most of the time I don't have to do it. Checkerboard, I check often because when I forget to check it, then there's something important there, but every other time there's nothing.
Well, Cassidy, even though I believe she already checked Mimic Cave, we just got a hint at the Swamp Palace saying that it's just a piece of heart inside of Mimic Cave.
Finds the big key in the Alu Stoops chest. So, that's interesting, finding the big key immediately in Swamp.
And here Kermit has decided to check those 2 chests just outside, and he's going to be able to pick up one of his swords.
Couple of sword slashes as well. I'm guessing not out of frustration, but more out of, ooh, look what I found!
I think more out of celebration. Now he realizes that he can just go ahead and start knocking out the rest of it because he has the ability to defeat Ganon this way. So as long as he can handle those dark rooms, then he's ready to go. And with only an hour and 3 minutes into the game, he might complete this game very, very, very quickly.
Yeah, official go mode. We have no lamp, but we have no use for it when we know the paths of the rooms like the back of our hand. Desert Palace doesn't require a lamp, does require a fire source, but we already have one. Swamp doesn't require a lamp, and then you're just on your way up to Ganon's Tower at that point.
Etium finishing up his fight with the Helmassar King, and Cassidy Moon just finding a taco down in that chest in Swamp Palace.
We found the big 10 bombs drop in the big chest. I didn't know this, but apparently that was an item specifically created for Randomizer. When they were deciding that bombs should be included in randomized swords as an uncle drop, they had no way of giving you 10 bombs immediately, so they created a 10 bomb drop and then included the 10 bombs in the prize pool. So that's kind of neat. Only found that out recently.
Here we have Boss Godfrey, who is taking care of these chain chomps, and he'll be picking up his lantern in just a quick second.
And more slashes, and it's like... I think everyone's response to items like this is slashing.
And BBB Kermit does a 0 cycle on the Landmos, and we are off to Swamp Palace.
It's going to be interesting. There's like big key in the first chest. You just get zoom straight on through at that point. This is going to be a very quick swamp now, just because of the location of the big key, the location of everything you need, silver arrows, master sword. Yeah.
And knowing that he's not looking for any more items, he'll be flying right through this. He doesn't have to take care of the western part. He'll be going straight to that boss and taking him out, and we'll be off to Ganon's tower.
Oh, Boss Godfrey's having a little bit of trouble with the pokey head in the room before the big key room. And it's not dying. How many times do I have to hit you with a sword? Just die! There
Is this invincible poke? I didn't know that character existed in the pool.
No. This is why I stopped bothering with the sword with pokies. I just incinerate them with the fire rod now. It's much easier. And more slashes in frustration this time. It's like, the net! Ah! I could have had this earlier. Ah!
Well,
terrible.
at least he'll be able to deflect Aghanim's.
Yeah, we can't defeat him otherwise. It's terrible. It's the most important item in the entire game. Other than
I think someone's going to find the fishing rod next.
Yeah, not even in this game. What?
But you can use it to distract him, right?
Yeah, keep your child fishing. And also go through to the next room, and the bomb is dropped by the 10th enemy, and you know, all the other joke hints. But we should stop. Time to stop!
It's someone to put the fishing rod in the case just to hold people a little bit more.
Oh no.
And Edium taking down his Armos Knights, and we'll be working on it. It knocks out 5 bosses for him.
I've just remembered, he's in go mode. He doesn't need the big key, so he doesn't even need to check where the big key is. He just goes, I'm in go mode, look at me, roar, and charges down into the...
And off he goes with
back.
his boots. Now, I believe that Kermit was the second person to find the boots. I think that Boss Godfrey actually found the boots first. But BBB Kermit was... I'm trying to figure out what was that one item that he found at before anybody else that gave him this ability to kind of jump ahead.
The flippers. First person to find the flippers logically, and that seems to have paid off. Which is interesting, because the flippers were required for Swamp, but it hasn't stopped other people from doing fake flippers and getting items as well. And then, I don't know, it just, Kermit's routing is being completely different to other people's, and it just finds these items in a way which has been beneficial and able to get, oh my goodness, you lucky,
And he finds the
lucky.
tempered sword. I bet that's what he was looking for, too.
Wow. Yeah, you don't need to do any more checks, but these checks are sort of on the way to Argus, and now you just have everything.
I was wondering why he was checking all of those chests while he was there with him being in go mode, and it's like, oh, well, maybe he's hoping to find that sword or that lantern, and there's that sword.
Yeah, those chests, they're on the way to the boss. They're practically free. You don't have to do much to get them. So 3 free checks. Try saying that fast 3 times. 3 free. So now, yeah, fighting off against Argus. Down they go, Tempered Sword, or Bacon Sword. It's more correctly called. And then you've just got this guy and 1 silver arrow, that's Calamari.
And with his death, that gives us all 7 crystals. So we are off to Ganon's Tower. For those of you that are brand new to chat, a lot of you already know this game. We're going to pick a game. There are 22 chest checks to make in Ganon's Tower. Please get your numbers in chat now so we can figure out. We're trying to find that big key. Where do you think that big key is going to be?
My guess, as always, is 12, because it's kind of my thing, and at this point, if I don't pick 12, I'm fairly sure someone is going to be complaining. Also, it puts it in randomizer room if you follow normal strats. And I'm not sure where it puts you if you follow Dark Magician strats, or do east side first. I'll have to figure that one out.
I'm going to go ahead and say 2. I really like how fast this is going. I'd love to see a time in under an hour 20. So let's say number 2. As soon as you go downstairs, it's not going to be on that land, but it's the very next one.
Yeah, let's just go for world record at this point. There's like, go modes in an hour 3. We have finished the seed in like an hour 15. You know, just go insane time strats now.
Do we know what the world record is for this particular logic set?
I have no idea, and I don't want to keep track because I'm sure someone will go with a. Oh look, I've done one in 50 minutes, and oh dear. That would be ridiculous to keep track of and keeping fair. It's ridiculous enough trying to do any percent.
Looking at our other runners, we're looking for flippers for Etienne and Boss Godfrey, and the flippers we found in...
I can't remember exactly, actually. Oh no, yes I do, is Spike Cave.
Flippers were in Spike Cave, okay, and that's what was one of the bigger things that's out of the way. We were talking about that earlier, yes. And it looks like Cassidy Moon is still looking for that bow, and we know the bow is buried back in Pod, and she has not made that run for Pod yet.
Yeah, Pod is I don't know. It's one of those where if you have the bow, then you feel really confident going there, especially with the lamp as well. Because then you can knock out Eastern and Palace of Darkness at the same time, and it feels great. And when you don't have the bow, you go, well, what do I do now? Because I can't complete it. And the irony is, that is exactly where the bow is. The bow is in Palace of Darkness, and so are the silver arrows, and that's what you need to get...
Here we go, the first, the lantern holding an ice rod for us, so that's number 1 down. We're going to go ahead and wait until we get to the next room to figure out where this big key is going to be.
Don't worry, the pedestal is still required, chat. That ice rod will come into play soon, I think, maybe. You hate to see it, I mean, someone...
Chest 2, piece of heart.
I've seen
key
someone...
in chest 3.
Bombos
in chest 4.
Oh.
And just bombs in chest 5.
I've seen someone lazy enough before they've put the fire rod on the lamp in Desert Palace because they decided, let's set this torch on fire. I can't be bothered, and just stick the whole fire rod up there. I'm sure that's just as good.
6 having a key, 7 having a key. We've got enough keys. Let's find that.
Yeah, going straight for the DM strats. Went over the left side, checked Bob's torch, and did Dark Magician room. Now coming over to the compass room side. You can do this room relatively straightforward. You don't actually need to have boots to be able to complete this room and get through with time to spare. But number of keys so far is ridiculous. We've had, I think, 1, 2, 3, at least 5, I think, because we've opened 2 locked doors.
Bucket for those flippers has decided to make a dip into the Skull Woods. 9 is a heart, 10 is some money, 11 is some bombs. We're still looking for that big key.
So if you continue full right side, 12 becomes Bob's chest, which I like actually with DM strats. But no, recycling going on the left side, going across the hookshot room. So 12 is the fire bar room. Then
This
after
next
that,
is yours, 12.
yeah, you've got the fire bar room. 13 is the hook shot across the pit, and then randomizer room for 14 through to 17. So we'll see how far we actually have to go. Fairy or bottle for 12?
Just a bottle. It's worked out for us, 12th Doc.
Fair in a bottle is fine. That's acceptable. At least it's not the ice rod. That's... you have no idea how disappointed. It's like, you're so lazy you didn't light the torch and you just decided to stick the entire stick of fire up there, and this one is a stick of ice to go with it. I don't know. These architects, I tell you.
Eddie, I'm taking a death in the dark room. 13
Okay.
just being a bundle of sticks, and I think the next thing we have coming up is the randomizer room.
It's so called because you only come here at randomizer. You don't do it in like any of the normal any percent, 100% things. Normally it just contains bombs and arrows, I think. Nothing important. But not today. Today it contains 20 rupee, a taco, a piece of heart, and the big key. Big key was
And that's
17.
the big keys. Chest 17. Let's take a scroll up and see how we did here.
I see. Wow. Lady Tyra lol with 17, the first guess out of everyone. Not just the first correct guess, the first guess. So, you've all been sniped. GG.
Fantastic guess. Now Kermit's going to work his way through that the gauntlet. We're going to see how everybody else is doing. We've got Cassidy Moon who just finished taking out the Landmos.
Boss Godfrey's finished with looking through Skull Woods and is going to check the Bumper Cave and see it's 20 rupees. Continuing on, I'm guessing Graveyard Ledge after that. Eating attempting the dark room of Mr. Umaya yet again. Looks like having a bit of trouble with the Samaria block and the fire traps in the first dark room. Already down to 3 hearts. It's difficult, I tells you. The roots are
Edium
actually
took a death a little bit ago, and I guess he just decided right back into the dungeon to take this out. He's doing a really, really challenging bit right now. I know that's not something that I would attempt.
No, this is without a doubt like the most difficult set of dark rooms in the game, and you have to navigate in the room he's in right now. Spike trap, a fire trap which responds to your sword swings, and a fire trap which just randomly fires at you. Once you get through there, the room after that has a Stalfos, and it has 2 anti-fairies, and you have to navigate a switch trap set. It's all terrible. And he's taken another death by accident. That's very difficult. It's a really difficult set of rooms, and it's really not... It doesn't make you feel any better not having any health items or having full hearts going in. It's just... yeah.
So he went back to Sanctuary. He got himself a full set of hearts, and we'll see where he's going to head off to next.
Yeah.
Cassidy Moon picking up her sword, 4 swords, but now she's running on the tempered sword as well. So we're going to get going. Hopefully she will work her way back into Palace of Darkness and pick up that bow. And it should go fairly quickly.
Meanwhile, Kermit is just ploughing through. He's now through... That was the second Wizrobe room. And there are not many floors standing between him and Trolldorm. There's not much left of the tower to complete.
So this room right here, with the way that the lanterns work, is you got to be just one step careful, because if you happen to go up these steps in the next room at the exact same time, you can despawn all the enemies, including Aghanim himself. So by hearing that sound, he knows that he can start to head up those stairs now.
I did not know that. I've never despawned the enemies because clearly I'm not that good. That's why I commentate instead of race.
And you're probably twice as good as I, but I've seen enough races where people have said that, yeah, absolutely. And he gets his powder! Thank goodness! I don't know what we would have done if we hadn't have found the powder.
Complete the game? It's impossible to tell at this point.
I'm sure that little bit of life refill was very, very much desired. And here Cassie is going to go, and she's going to get ripped off by Zora, but maybe she'll make that trip on down and pick up that gold sword while she's here.
it's nice, but it's not something you necessarily need. The biggest upgrade that most runners will look for is the upgrade between Master Sword and Tempered Sword, because it is such a big gap, the threshold, especially for fighting Ganon. Being able to hit him directly is much better than being able to hit him with the spin attack. So, but we do see Gold Sword for Cassidy. Prove me wrong.
I can say that I'm that kind of a bad player where if there's a gold sword available, I'm going to pick it up every single time.
I'll take it, but it depends how free it is. Zora's Ledge, I mean, if you're already there, then you might as well, but if you're not ever going to revisit Zora's area, then I'm just not going to go back for it.
It looks like Cassidy is trying to go everywhere except for Pod to find this bow before going in there, because she doesn't want to until she realizes that the bow actually is in Pod.
Not playing nice. Agatu is giving blue balls to Kermit. I believe that's only 3 hits, maybe 4. We'll see. No, that was 4 because 2 more hits. Down he goes like a sack of potatoes. So,
like a sack of potatoes. I like that illusion.
Yeah. So all that's left is the evil pig, which is currently a bat. Game? Explain this, please. The game explains nothing. The game actually explains nothing.
It just shows a giant bat crashing through the floor, and I guess you're supposed to follow, because when giant bats crash through floors, what else are you going to do?
Chat's also pointing out the number of hits that Aghanim took was a palindrome. 2-1-0-1-2. It's great. So here comes the Ganon fight. 12 hits for phase 1, 12 hits for phase 2, 4 hits for phase 3, and then 4 silver arrows, and that is a dead pig, and we all get to have bacon. Unless you don't want bacon, in which case, what's wrong with you? Also, I'm sorry for your loss if you can't eat bacon. I'll eat your bacon. I like bacon. I should stop talking.
Well, I can't help with the bacon, but I've got some ramen noodles over here.
Yeah, that's just as good. You know what's
Here we
better
have
than
Etienne
ramen
taking
noodles?
out the big bat.
Noodles with bacon. Yeah, phase 3 is going well-ish, maybe. I don't like the number of fire bats which were flying around that room. There were at least 2, 3 on stream. Red pendant for Etium. Mothula's dead. Yay, Mothula's dead. Nobody likes Mothula.
And we've got Boss Godfrey. He's found his bow, and he's making his way through Pod. He still has not found the flippers, so he is not in go mode yet.
Yeah, that's one of the ones where it just hurts. It's like, I've got everything apart from the flippers, which I need to get into Swamp. Dang it! And,
with
now,
one more shot, that
rejoice.
takes down the big pig.
Get your GGs in the chat for Kermit. That was impressive time coming through.
Sub 125. Fantastic job. GG Kermit.
Now we find ourselves with interesting things happening. Boss Godfrey is taking on Helmasaur and going for the bomb strats for the memes. It takes 17 hammer hits or 5 bombs. Bomb doing 4 hits.
Oh, so it does look like no Boss managed to pick up the bow, but he didn't grab his silver arrows that were in the same room. They were both in the dark room, were they not?
I'm not entirely sure. I know that they were definitely in that area. I don't think they were in the dark room, but they were either immediately before or immediately adjacent. They were in the Hellway. Okay.
And here Kermit has joined us in chat. Kermit, GG, everybody.
Hey, GG.
That was an absolute impressive time that you pulled off there. We were excited watching you run through the entire time. How do you feel?
I'm feeling super good. I was so nervous, like, during the race. especially it started like I think I did super well in the beginning, but then in Thieves Town, everything went like to shambles. I was so nervous after I almost died at blind, but yeah. And then the sword for the go mode, that was pretty crazy.
We were sitting there because when you made your beeline straight to take care of Vitrius, we're like, there are 2 swords behind you, buddy, go back. And then you came back and picked them up, so that was really good.
I was so glad that I checked Meyer Shack. I first wanted to skip that, but Meyer Shack and like Swamp are my major go-to things if I need swords, so I just checked it and it went well. So yeah, always check those 2 things, I guess.
Always. Well, the check that gave you the biggest head start in this was actually when you picked up the flippers from the Spike Cave.
Yeah, that's actually what I thought when I found them. That was pretty crazy. I'm glad I went back there to get them, despite not having the cape or the Cane of Burna. That was crazy.
Yeah, I saw you walking in there. Sorry, I saw you walking in there, and it's like, wait, he doesn't have the hook shot. How much health is he going with? Oh yeah, he picked up that red potion. No, it's fine. Walk it off.
Yeah, that was close. If I didn't pick up that bottle, it wouldn't have worked. And I probably would have never gone there.
We can confirm, Kirby, that you have taken first place in the race out of 32 entrants with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 17 seconds.
Yeah, that's just, like running a marathon at a sprint pace. That is just excellent. The quickness of the seed.
It was pretty lucky though, let's be honest. It went pretty well.
I've seen these races go on for ages and ages and thinking, yes, you give everyone what they want. They've given Chat the pedestal, we've given him Agant 1, and this seed we've given them a really impressive quick finish.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see like when the people are finishing. I think this will spread out widely from the finishing times.
So Kermit, when you finally realized that you hit go mode, except for the lantern, was it even a thought on your mind to try to go find it, or just like, I'm just going to do these dark rooms?
No, I didn't. Honestly, I didn't want to find the lamp. I didn't even know where to search for it at that point. I think Flute was the thing that we needed to get to Death Mountain. I'm pretty sure.
It was.
Logic-wise, right?
Do you want to know where the lamp was?
Oh yeah, sure.
Chain Chomp chest in Turtle Rock.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
That's
very,
like
very late lamp.
The very far away locations for the lamp to be. It's terrible, and currently 2 of the stream runners have found it. That seems to be a handicap for most players because taking down the Misery Mire Dark Rooms has proven fatal to a few runners at this point.
Yeah, I could see that. For me, it was like when I went to grab the old man, I didn't really know how to do it without a sword, so I tried the boomerang, but it went pretty sadly.
Yeah,
I'm kind of glad I did it though.
Yeah, the boomerang is an interesting one. I think I've used the boomerang before, but there isn't really a safe way to do it without a sword. I'm guessing boomerang is probably the safest out of all the options available.
I think actually the red boomerang is better in there. I've
Don't
done
tell
it a
me
few
to
times with the red one, and it felt easier than this time, honestly. Maybe I was just nervous, I don't know.
Yeah, and then the blind fight as well, getting down to 1 heart, and then out comes the red cane, and down he goes and saves it. That was good too.
It was so bad though. Like, I normally don't have too many problems with Hammer Blind actually, but I somehow messed up the first phase, so that was so tilting. I'm glad I didn't die there. And yeah, also shoutouts to not having a sword when I was on Death Mountain, because I would have gone to Turtle Rock definitely. I don't know if you saw it, but I actually went up there, but then I realized that I didn't have a sword, so I backed out and did Spike Cave instead.
Yeah, took the mirror, went to the entrance, hit down the first hammer peg and wait. Hold on a second, I can't use my medallion
Yeah.
yet. No! Oh, I guess I'll do Spike Cave instead. Ooh, flippers. It just
We
sort
can
of...
announce now that Cassidy Moon has found her bow. She picked it up in the basement of the Palace of Darkness, and so we are. She is in go mode.
Oh,
Nice.
Boss Godfrey, no! He's gone off to see the fairy in the pyramid and 20 rupees and a piece of heart. There's good and there's not good, and that's not good.
Although Cassidy, once she picked up her bow in go mode, she mirrored right out of there and didn't take the time to go grab those silvers that were still missing their flippers. And we know that the flippers are buried back in Spike Cave, and right now they're checking as many places as they can to find those flippers.
Unfortunately, flippers are one of those few items like the ice rod which could be practically anywhere. There's what do you need that can't be done with them? Obviously, it can't be in Ganon's tower. It can't be on the pedestal either. And then you can't be in ice, and it can't be in swamp. And then after that, it could be anywhere else in the game. So, yeah. Oh, could we have your reaction as well, Kermit? Ice rod on Bob's torch.
Yeah. I don't know. I slashed at it, but I wasn't too sad about it, honestly. It was just like a nice little troll to the end, I guess.
I think the
If
biggest kicker
finally made his
was
way to the top to check for the Spike Cave. He'll be picking up his flippers, and he will be in go mode in just a second.
I think the biggest kicker was finding the powder in the room. It's just,
Yeah.
oh no, I've got to go through this with no health. Ooh, powder! I can get the anti-fairies now.
Yeah, everything worked out in this scene. That was really crazy.
You're so lucky. It's like we knew where 3 of the swords were. You picked up 2 and ignored one of them, which is on Maya's firelock side. It was actually in cutscene room. And then you're saying you're probably fine to go ahead. You've done all the dark rooms without the lantern, so you're probably fine to do Ganon with just a Master Sword. And then you go through Swamp and take some of the free chests on the way, and ooh, look, a sword! Ooh, look, powder! And just being incredibly lucky with some of these pulls.
Yeah, but like it's kind of a rule for me. If I only have fighter or master sword, I'll check more chests and swamp, like the ones I did there in the bottom after or in the end of swamp. There wasn't a sword today, but it was one room after that, so that was also fine. Swamp always has a sword, guys. It's true.
Godfrey's screen, he is spelling out some letters. It looks like OOP. Oh, my friend, it's up in Spike Cave. It's up in Spike Cave. I wish I could tell you.
He did an oops. It ain't good. Oh,
He's
dear.
digging for the flippers now.
He isn't even at the digging game. The wrong place. I mean, it's probably a piece of heart, but who knows? It could be anything. Oh. Yeah, he got most of the word oops up there, so... It was almost oof as well, so you could have gone for that too.
Well, we can confirm that Boss Godfrey has forfeited on SRL.
Ah. That's a shame. Yeah, flippers at Spike Cave, and you feel...
Let's hope he takes a minute and comes in here to chat and join us for a bit. Welcome, Boss Godfrey. GG, buddy. Thanks for coming and joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching that go down.
It was such an entertaining race. You did such an incredible job, and I bet there's really one question on your mind.
Yes, where were they? Where were the
Cave.
flippers?
Spike Cave.
Oh no! Of course they were.
It's difficult because that's like one of the checks which I definitely forget about all the time. I was going to say.
Which are the ones I tend to forget almost immediately.
Well, I saw a can of Burna, and I said, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to check Light Cave as soon as I can, and then I completely forgot about it.
They did to find that bow. The other thing that we were looking at is after you got the bow and you ran off, we're kind of like, wait, go back. Your silvers are right next door.
Well, I didn't have the big key yet.
Yeah, the silvers were on, I think it was Harmless Hellway, someone said. So that they were accessible, but they were just like, no, a little bit to the right. Oh, he's gone.
By that point, I think I'd already knew that I was so far behind, and all I wanted to find was the flippers, figure out where they were the whole time, and then I just gave up. I couldn't handle it anymore.
Understood. It was a really, really good race.
I see Kermit had a really good time.
Yeah, Kermit's time just sort of got out of control, and he got very lucky with some of the item placements. And first to find the flippers, but after that, everything else just sort of fell in the way as he was going towards all of the bosses.
Kermit did a great job making an early play on the Palace of Darkness and finding that bow.
Yeah, this is a seed that definitely rewarded people who could do dark rooms consistently.
Absolutely, and you found your lantern, but as I said, I personally would not want to have to delve that big into a pendant turtle rock just to try to find that lantern.
Yeah, pretty quickly, when Meyer had nothing in it, I realized it had to be somewhere on Death Mountain, and when it wasn't in Hookshot Cave or Super Bunny Cave, I decided I'd go some spelunking into Turtle Rock.
Good place to do it because you have all those chests thrown that laser bridge. The other funny thing is, as soon as you walk into Ganon's tower, right on that lamp, Bob's lamp, I think they called it, was your ice rod. So you had no one was even supposed to kill Trinex.
That is pretty funny.
Edium is making his way into Misery Mire, which will be his final dungeon that he has to complete. Cassidy Moon just finished knocking out Eastern Palace, and that gives her all 7 of her crystals, so she'll be on her way to Ganon's tower right now.
Where was the last sword upgrade? I see Cassidy's got butter.
So we had a sword on Zora Ledge, we had 2 in Mire, and 1, I'm trying to remember where the 4th one was.
It was the waterfall chest in Swamp Palace. We had, Zora's Ledge, Swamp Palace, there was the cutscene room in Misery Mire, and there was Mire shed on the right chest.
Absolutely right, good job.
Important difference from Cassidy's run up the tower now. Has a golden sword instead of the tempered, but has no silver arrows, so we'll be seeing silverless Ganon.
Etienne is still in the middle of doing his Mire, but as we can see, I think he may have found the big key earlier, and so he's now going back in. That's right, because Etienne had some difficulty with that dark room in Misery Mire. And he still does not have his lantern, so he's going to go back and give this another whirl.
Yeah, difficult dark room to pull off, and hopefully, having done everything else, this is now the only attempt that's required left now. Just hit the switch with the red cane. That's not far enough. Using blue cane to help push whilst also avoiding the fireballs. That seems to have worked out. There's still 3 more rooms though.
Come on, Etienne, I believe in you. You can do this.
Collecting the bomb. Going to blow open the room to the switch room. Hit the switch. And all that remains is to get over to the door on the left-hand side. And that is the sequence of dark rooms complete. Good
Great job, Eddie. And we are through. Let's take out this Vitreous and move our way to Ganon's Tower. And here we're finding our bombos. Here we find our ice rod. Soon we're gonna find the powder. And with that, the Silvers take down Vitreous, and Etienne is on his way to Ganon's Tower. So we'll have two people running Ganon's Tower at the same time.
Here's the thing, though, is that Etienne's gonna have only the Master Sword. Silver arrows are great, but Master Sword.
Well, that's a good point. He did not finish checking out those chests, and he's already through Swamp Palace, so it's going to be a Master Sword run for him.
Yeah, Mirror and Flute, so Master Sword only. It's going to be a difficult fight. It's possible, but difficult. Etienne is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and both of them are dead rocks, so between a rock and a rock. Okay, and another one! And another one! More dead rocks for everyone! Just use Quake and turn them into slimes. I'm sure it'd be better in the long run. Oh, and then you just uses the hookshot spin speed to get through.
Now Cassidy's found the big key, so she is on her way back. She'll be making her hustle right up to Aghanim and finishing her run. Just don't forget to get that powder.
Yeah, having a bit of trouble here with the they're not Igors, they're mimics.
I know my favorite strat to use in these rooms right here, well, not this particular room, but once you start to get through the gauntlet, is the golden bee strats. I love that bee.
Seven crystals. Opening Ganon's Tower for Etienne. Headed on the way up now. We may see some overlap of the race possible. It all depends on how quickly they get up the tower and how well their Ganon fight goes. Master Sword on one hand, Silverless on the other.
This would be a really interesting fight to see if we could get the two to sync up during the Ganon fight, but I think Cassidy is going to have a significant enough lead that it's going to be hers to take.
I've seen interesting shenanigans where people have overtook and then lost the lead and then overtook again when they get to Moldorm 2, so anything's possible. Only time will tell.
Cassidy doing a great job making short work of this gauntlet, just plowing through these guys. Using really good fire rod strats to take out the guys that are at a distance.
So that's Lambolas 2 for Cassidy. Etium's going to Compass Room. So I believe that's Dark Magician strats again, over to the room on the left, and then back over to Compass Room, and then back over the other way.
Great Wizard room right there. That's a strat that I've been working on. I've only ever managed to hit 2 of the guys, not 3.
Godfrey, no, that chest doesn't deserve it. It's innocent, I tells you.
I disagree, 12th Doc. I think the chest totally deserves what it's about to get.
Yeah. If only we had Bomb Boss as well from out of the tower, then we could burninate the chest.
Is it possible to get that far with the big bomb?
I don't think so. Because there's no access to Dark Death Mountain that way. You'd have to... Wow. If you were
I've always
gonna
kind
do
of
it... No, you
wondered,
can't
like-
do it. Because I've
wonder
just
how far-
realised you can't use the flute to get the big bomb anywhere, and you have to drop down a ledge in the sequence to go up to Death Mountain. So you can't drop off a ledge and keep the big bomb, so you'd eventually lose it. You can't take the big bomb up there.
That's
we
a
can
good
set
point.
it on fire with ether, and we can call the duck, and the duck can drop a nuke on it, or cover it with napalm or something. Yeah, I think that chest is dead. It's dead, Jim.
I think I now have a desire to go see, like, what kind of items can you get into Spike Cave? Like, can I get Jeremiah into Spike Cave? That could be rather entertaining.
I'm sure we can hack it, so we have a frog in there, we have a purple chest in there, we get Zelda in there. Ooh, nice triple on the Aga 2 fight. Unfortunately, the double triple's not possible with blue balls. Another one. So this looks like it's a triple and then a triple of singles. 3-1-1-1. Good Aga fight.
We have Cassidy about to go take out her Ganon fight and work her way into getting onto this list.
Oh, Boss Godfrey is making sure that we can try and find a way to get the big bomb up there, and it looks as though we're able to get it onto Death Mountain. This is important for science.
I'll give it a try.
You're still going to have to drop down a ledge though, so this is going to be interesting. You might be able to bomb the entranceway, I don't know. We will find a way. We will make the biggest explosion we possibly can.
So here we have Cassidy starting her Ganon fight. She's got the gold sword, but she does not have silver arrows. And it's the ledge drop that stops us from getting the big bomb into Spike Cave.
But the bomb asks you, can't you take me somewhere nice when you go into the cave? Which is interesting, seeing as it's an inanimate object and it's not the purple chest or Jeremiah. I'm incredibly confused. Are orange bombs sentient? Since when did Legend of Zelda become a philosophy class? I'm so confused.
I mean,
chat, help me.
It does kind of go side to side, rather animatronically.
It wiggles. So hiyo. We have Cassidy Silver strats against Ganon 4, while Etium's making his way through Gauntlet. It's already through to room 2.
Cassidy is running a little bit low on magic, so she's going to have to use the... oh, but she's got a blue potion. She'll be just fine.
Yeah. Wasn't able to get the torch glitch either. If you light the torch on the left, then the one on the right stays lit almost permanently. I think that it does go out eventually, maybe.
Unfortunately, she missed the torch glitch. That's a hard glitch. I've actually never gotten it to work before.
Yeah, you have to be accurate. There's like, I don't know how big the frame window is, but there is a decent amount of buffering. If you just spam the lantern or hit the perfect fire rod shot, it is possible to keep both the torches lit, and then only the left one goes out. I think the right one goes out eventually, but most of our runners are able to just take him out in a decent amount of time that it actually becomes inconsequential whether it goes out or not, because no one takes that long on Ganon to find out whether it does.
Ganon not playing very nice with Cassidy right now. He's managed to time himself, so he's just missing all of her swipes, and the torches are going out.
I've also lost count, which doesn't help. So this is a huge difficulty that Etienne will be facing with the Master Sword. Fortunately, not Master Sword Silverless, because that is the absolute worst. Silverless, you have a Tempered Sword or a Gold Sword. It takes 12 spin attacks on a perfect frame to hit Ganon, and if you have the Master Sword Silverless, that's 24 instead of 12. Fortunately, Etienne does have silver arrows, so just needs to hit, instead of hitting directly, just has to hit every sword slash instead. You have to be careful here now. Cassidy dodging the fire bats, but almost getting hit by them. This is also very difficult. Oh! No! No!
Oh no! We have a Ganon drop! Ouch!
So, I don't know at this point. Mirror and then flute to the witches and get refills on potion.
That's gonna be the best choice and get yourself back in there, but this really gives Etienne a chance to try to play this catch-up game, because he's most of his way through the gauntlet. We're already at our refight of Trolldorm.
Yeah, it's not great when you have no half magic. You have to be conservative with your magic use. Etienne's going to have fun with that fight, because no lamp is going to have to use the fire rod to relight the torches at Ganon 4. So you have to be very conservative with the amount of magic that you use.
I think at this point in time he's starting to realize that, and so now he's checking those last chests to see if he can happen to find half magic, but none of our runners found that.
No, the final chest of the game had 100 rupees, I think it was. So not exactly what you're looking for. It gives you money for the potions, and you do have 3 bottles, but no half magic, no lamp, no better sword. Aghan fight's going to be fine, but your Ganon fight is going to be touch and go.
We have Cassidy going in for round 2, while Etienne is finishing up his Aghanim 2 fight. We're going to be seeing 2 side-by-side Ganon fights in just a minute.
So it's a catch-up game, not ketchup game. Ketchup game is Mother Brain, obviously, because the attack that she does. I should get some sleep. I'm making bad jokes.
My favorite kind of humor.
Don't hook the pig. Kelsey knows about hooking the pig. You don't hook the pig. That's a lot of damage.
Supposed to cook the pig, at least as long as you got that spit there.
So,
here we have Etienne dropping down into his Ganon fight. Let's see how this goes. We have Cassidy Moon, who's already started the last phase, where she can worry about those. And we get the torch glitch.
Very close to Ganon sitting on her, though. That's you don't want that either. Hugging the pig, no. Getting sat on by the pig, absolutely not. Getting hit by the fire bat, that's the worst, because it makes you like jump about 4 tiles distance away. So you don't want to get hit by those. That's the most likely thing that will put you in the pit at the edge of the arena, is being hit by the fire bat. Oh, that's another way of doing it.
Oh no, we have another drop. Oh my goodness. Poor Cassidy.
Yeah, if you're too close to the edge of the pit, when you hit the and it wasn't on the correct frame, and he goes into his stun state, then he just makes you bounce a long way, and that's bottom margin.
Now, it's the same amount of knockback as when you have to fight those octopus things in the top of Tower of Hera.
Yeah, the beetles. Not the beetles from my home city of Liverpool. Actual beetles. They're just very large.
Well, we don't have any beetles here in DC right now, but we do have at least 4 inches of snow on the ground.
I think I'd trade for the beetles. I think they're much better. It's what, 30 degrees here as well. We've been under a layer of ice for too long. Maybe that's why they put the ice rod on Bob's torch. It's like fire and ice. We put them together, and maybe we get the ice everywhere. Instead, what we have is a polar vortex instead. Terrible.
What I do like about the fire and the ice is when they come around here, you don't have to deal with the bugs.
Or with Trinex, as we found out. So now we have phase 4 for both of our runners. Silverless on one screen and Silver Full Master Sword on the other. And I have no idea, because I haven't been counting the number of Silverless hits Cassidy has.
Etienne is about to take care of this Ganon himself. He's already got to the point where he's hitting him with silver arrows, so it's just a matter of 3 more arrows and this fight will be done.
And the trick here is not dying. Because everything hurts.
Yes, he does have a blue potion, and he does have an emergency fairy, so he'll be okay.
So now with most of those bottles empty, the big thing... doesn't matter. Just kill the pig. Forehead.
Get your GGs in chat for Edium as he finishes the pig.
The biggest thing to worry about is your magic meter, because if you've got Fire Rod and no lamp, and you have to keep those torches lit, Fire Rod can 1/8 of your magic, so is yeah, not great. Spam those emotes in Wilds chat. So here's the thing with the Silverless, is you release the too early, you get him in the stun state and you deal no damage. Get him too late, you miss your cycle window. You did it just right, then you hope the torches don't go out.
And I'm waiting for my computer to refresh, but I'll be able to most likely confirm that Edium is finishing in 16th place on this race. It looks like we've got a bunch of other racers. So in 15th, we have Sandris with 1 hour and 56 minutes. And never mind, my computer just rebooted.
Oh. And we have Cassidy's finished as well on the stream.
Okay, we have Cassidy coming in 18th place at a time of 1 hour and 58 minutes. We have Knock with time of 1 hour and 58 minutes. We have Edium coming in with 1 hour and 57 minutes. In 15th, we have Sandris with 1 hour 56. In 14th, we have Hayfield Bay. 13th is Hatch. 12th is Nia Terrific, and 11th is Corday, and Corday comes in at 1 hour and 51 minutes. So we have a bunch of runners all coming in between that hour and 50 and 1 hour and 58. We have Feline coming in with 1 hour and 27, and second Illis with 1 hour and 27, and in first place was our friend Kermit, who seems to be still in the chat for 1 hour and 23. Let's see if we can get either of our runners, our wonderful runners, Etienne and Cassidy, into the chat, and so they can talk to us. Welcome, guys, and GG.
Hey, 1G.
Single G.
I just don't get how would people just finish these seeds so fast. Like, it's weird. There's 3 people got under 130, and then like 5th place was over 140. Like, it's just, I don't know.
It was an incredible race. We were watching, the person who took first place was on our screen, so we got to watch Kermit do this. Yeah. And the 2 items that were really on the lookout for were the flippers and that bow, and he managed to find both of them very early just by the checks he happened to make.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't get it. But whatever.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
just salty.
it is lucky sometimes, just the way that you find the items, and it just happened to everything just fell into Kermit's lap on the way that he progressed through the seed.
Like, I took a couple deaths in that Meyer dark room, but other than that, like, I don't know what else I could have done differently. After people started finishing at like 120, I just was like, whatever. I would have probably forfeited if I wasn't on stream. So I was just bored finishing it off.
The big challenge was that Turtle Rock was a pendant, and the lantern was buried in Turtle Rock right by the chain chomp room.
Oh wow.
Yeah, terrible place to put the lamp.
Well, no. Once someone finished in 120, I knew there couldn't be in Turtle Rock, so I just checked all the overworld.
Yeah, Kermit finished without the lamp in the end. Didn't think. No, he didn't even open Turtle Rock. By the time he got to Turtle Rock the first time and saw that it was Quake to open it, still didn't have a sword at the time, so couldn't open it, and decided instead to go to Spike Cave and found the flippers. That's how the flippers came into being.
I would have went to Spike Cave, but I didn't have any. I didn't have the burnout or a cape to go there, so I couldn't.
Yeah. Kermit was lucky in that went over to the floating island and picked up a bottle with a red potion in it, and was able to use that to force the way through the cave.
Ugh. I don't know. It's races like this that are they're just not fun, and someone just finishes so absurdly fast, and you have no idea how they did it.
Well, if you have any questions, we can definitely answer those questions. The very beginning of the whole race, as everyone's going through Kakariko, all four of you guys went in completely different directions and found so many items in the light world. And it was very exciting at that moment in time. But then once we realized the items we were missing and how deep they were buried in very obscure places, it made it a huge challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had just checked Spike Cave, I would have finished like easily 20 minutes faster.
Absolutely, and that's what caused the time was the fact that Kermit did check Spike Cave. He got those flippers, then he went straight over to Pod, and he did the dark room to find that bow and the arrows. And we're like, he's in go mode, and off he went.
Yeah. Oh well.
It looks like Cassidy is saying thanks so much for the commentary, and thank everybody else for watching the stream. Edium or anybody else have any questions before we sign this game off?
No, I'm good. Thanks for commentary and thanks for the tracking.
Well, thank you for running for us and putting yourself on the stream. It's daunting sometimes to put yourself up on the stage in front of everyone, so thank you for showcasing your run for us.
Don't worry too much about it, Edium. Like, we all have those races. I got 16th place yesterday and was like 30 minutes behind, so it happens. Next time it might be your race.
Yep.
Well, GG to all of our runners. Thank you, everyone on chat, for watching. And big, huge thanks to our trackers, especially Red Armor, who was doing a lot of this on his own. Tracking 4 screens is not an easy thing to do. Thank you to FaZe, who was helping us out for a while. And to anybody else who assisted with this, thank you to the Speedruns Live community and for all of our racers who put their running and put their games out there for all of us to watch and enjoy.
Yep. If you could follow the runners and follow everyone else who was involved in this race. Thank you so much for letting us watch and for letting us have the opportunity to commentate and keeping up. There are things happening on the rest of the Speed Gaming Network right now, including a race in the Link to the Past Randomizer Fall 2018 tournament, which is still ongoing. It's into the quarterfinals now, best of 5s. That is over on Speed Gaming 1, or Speed Gaming because there's a blank on the end of the end. And of course, there'll be races of more Link to the Past rando later on this evening, I believe, if it isn't taken up by other tournaments. So please stay tuned with the Speed Gaming Network and enjoy the rest of your Friday wherever you are. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much, 12th Doc, and everyone have a good, warm rest of your day.